Hi, everybody. Wade Bloodgood here. I just want to share a little bit with you today about doing a testimonial for a friend of mine named Johnny Nguyen. He makes content on YouTube. You should go to his channel and subscribe now. His content is about the law of attraction and basically explaining how the law of attraction works and investigating more about the law of attraction to find out more about it and to help other people learn about the law of attraction so they can apply it to their lives and reap the rewards and the blessings of what law of attraction can do for you. So I was going to do a testimonial for him to let you all know what law of attraction has done for me in my life. So here we go. I'd say about 3.5, 4 years ago, I was introduced to the law of attraction. But first, before that, 38 years of my life, I'd thought very negative thoughts, very negative behavior, just a lot of negativity for the most part. And yes, there were positivity going on in there too, but the majority of my thinking was negative, and I was reaping the outcomes of that negative attitude. And so when I was 38 years old, I went through some traumatic stuff, and in that process I had to take a look at myself and started to do some inner work. And when I did that, I realized, wow, my mind was really thinking a lot of negative stuff. So I started to take control of that, and in that control I started to do mind exercises, and my mind started to get more positive. And in the unfoldings of having a more positive mind, things have entered my experience that have to do with the law of attraction, whether it's from the Bible or from The Secret or from Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks. There's Jack Canfield's another one. There's a lot of people out there actually talking about the law of attraction and how it works and what it can do for your life. But as I started to become more positive, a lot of things have entered my experience. The law of attraction is just one of them. But the law of attraction has entered my experience, and through all kinds of ways, like I said, like the Holy Bible has the law of attraction in it. Jack Canfield has written some books about it. Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, Jerry Hicks, they are all about the law of attraction, and they're very helpful. Esther Hicks channeling Abraham Hicks is just unbelievable stuff. And so basically, as I started getting positive, all these things unfolded and a law of attraction started to present itself. And actually, I had a friend that I started to tell her a little bit about some of the things I was experiencing. And that was even really before I really understood what law of attraction was about. And she said, "Hey, I've got a movie at my house called The Secret. You should come over and watch it with me." She said, "I've actually had it for 10 years and I haven't looked at it. But the things you're saying, I believe that that's what that movie's about." And so I went to her house and we watched The Secret. And at that particular point, it just kind of validated everything that was already experiencing, and I just loved it. It just filled me up. It made me excited, and it just pointed me in the directions that I feel have led me to some amazing manifestations. I do a lot of daily practices to get myself strong in the area of subconscious thinking. And so I have visualization boards, and I do visualization exercises and things like that. But the testimonies I'd like to say about law of attraction is that I've manifested flights where I'm flying from here to there, and in the process of going from here to there, there's delayed flights, people being canceled, people being put up in hotel rooms, all kinds of things. And I've always kept a good attitude, and I know that everything's working out for my favor. Sometimes when things don't work out the way that I want, I think that that's something bad, but often it's the universe just taking you off the path of what you think it should be to actually give you what you actually want. And we consider that to be bad often, but it's not. You just really have to be open to allow the flexibility so the universe can actually give you what you're asking for. It's not going to look exactly like the picture you have painted in your mind to necessarily get there, but when you finally do get there, you will see that picture that's in your mind. So I would just like to say that, I've made flights where people that had booked way ahead of me they weren't getting on, and there was like one seat left, and they let me on the plane, and I was just so happy, and I knew it was going to happen. It didn't matter if I was the person number 100 in the line, or if I was the second person in the line waiting. Everybody in front of me was being told, no, there's no more available seats. There's no more available seats. And when I came up there, I figured I'd get the same old standby treatment as everybody else. But here's the truth. I didn't figure that. I knew when I was in line, when I got there, things would work out for me. And when I did, it did. And I was just started to kind of get a little bit gloaty, I think, a little bit more ego about things. And I was just like, and I got my seat on the plane, and I went over to a crowd of people, and I let them know that I got on the plane, because we were all chatting it up in line and stuff, and I let them know that I got on, and I explained to them what had happened and how the lady said there's only one seat and it's for me, and she really stopped a lot of things to make this process happen so I could get on this flight. And honestly, if I got on the flight or didn't, it really didn't make a difference to me. But I just know it's all working out for my favor, so I got to go where I wanted to without any disgruntled feelings or without any disgruntled storylines to add to it. Another flying episode I had was, I went over to the crowd after I got my ticket, and I went over and I explained to them that I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe in positive thinking, positive prayer, being appreciative and being grateful for everything, and that everything's working out for me, and that I've got this ticket, and I know that they're all standing in line, but I just wanted to let them know that this is a real thing, like positive thinking. And there was a lady out of like 25 people that said, my husband is exactly like you. Everything is always working out for him. He believes in this positive stuff, and I just can't understand it. And I just started laughing when I told her, I showed my ticket to everybody once again. I said, I'm telling you, it's real stuff, but it takes practice. And I walked off, and I went and got myself something to eat. And on another flight, for instance, I was waiting, and the plane that was supposed to come in that we were all going to get on, a lady had gotten pregnant, so they had to make a stop somewhere. And so this was a later flight in the day. So when we finally got to the transferring destination, there were no more connecting flights to go to where I was heading. And so they had to basically put everybody up in a hotel room, which was absolutely fine with me. Because I'm always just open to things unfolding. I do want to get there today, but if it doesn't happen, I realize it's for a reason, and I just stay calm and I stay positive, and I accept the moment that things are really working out for my favor, even though it seems like it may not be working out for my favor. And in this particular instance, what happened was I got put up in a hotel room that a lot of other people were getting put up into. I don't know what was happening, but I got the top floor, what I felt was the penthouse suite. It was a humongous room. It had 2 bathrooms in it. It was just like, it was big. I could see everything from the windows, and they gave me $60 vouchers so I could get food and some drinks and stuff for my inconvenience. And to be honest with you, it was a real convenience. We really got into the hotel. It wasn't really all that late. Had time to relax, took a hot shower, went and swam in the pool, went and got a steak dinner, got some drinks, had enough vouchers to come down early in the morning before we caught the shuttle for the early morning flight, and got myself a breakfast and everything like that. And almost every single other person that I ran into, they did not get no penthouse room. They didn't get no beautiful view. They got the view of a wall. They got a $30 voucher that only covered their dinner. They didn't get a $60 voucher. And the fact was, I was just getting blessed with some extra bonuses just because I was having a better positive attitude about it. And I truly believe that everything was working out for me, and it surely did. And it was really a beautiful thing. I've actually had like quite a bit of experiences in the hotel or flying on planes and in the airport that have just, I'll make some other videos about explaining some of those things, because they're just really miraculous stories of how I've made flights, and how there was just seconds to go, and I'm sliding into home base, making a home run, and it's just an awesome feeling. And I really base that off the law of attraction, the fact that I know that everything's working out for my favor, and I know that I'm open to the adjustments of a storyline instead of letting it just be, this is the way I want it, and if it isn't the way that I see it in my mind, then I get all mad, which really sets up a lot of blocks for you to receive the blessings of what law of attraction can do. Another cool thing that's happened too within the 3.5 years, but really happened within a more short period of time as I've been practicing this, all these daily practices that I have that allow me to keep my subconscious game strong and allow me to allow manifestation to actually happen a lot quicker. I was in debt close to $12,000 on my credit card, and within a year's time, I manifested all that debt. I'm debt free at this point. I have no more debt whatsoever. And that was purely about manifestation. A lot of things that I would have never expected unfolded into my experience. I was just open to knowing that things were going to work out for me and that I was going to be able to get out of financial debt. Even though I didn't understand how that was going to happen, I was very open in knowing that it was going to happen. And there were just a lot of different stories with a lot of different people and a lot of different situations that unfolded. That just blessed my life with a lot of financial abundance very quickly, and it allowed me to get out of the financial debt that I was in. And to be honest with you, when I started manifesting of getting out of debt, I didn't have a job. I was homeless, living out in the woods. I really didn't know where my next meal was going to come from, but I started to meditate and I started to do these daily visual practices and practices with my feelings and my emotions that I haven't really got into in this video right here, but these things have grown the strength within my subconscious mind to allow these unfoldings to happen. And actually, when I began to do the work, it was actually about 8 months later before I started to reap the blessings and the benefits of the work that I had been doing with the law of attraction and with visualization and feeling exercises. And I do actually a lot of different things that I need to write a book to gather all of those things for everybody to what I do that's really helped me. I mean, I have so many synchronicities that I notice on a regular daily basis, whether it just be a small conversation with somebody over here, but how it generates a story throughout my day or the very next day over here that has nothing to do with this particular person, just because I stimulated the conscious thought of these particular type of things. It generates these particular storylines for your life, and it's a super powerful thing. I mean, Jesus Christ himself used law of attraction. He was definitely, I mean, the man did a lot of meditation. He went out in the woods. He did a lot of fasting. He went away from people and got some rest from the energy and the static cling of society. And he got tuned in with God. And he got tuned in with that energy and was able to tap into the source, infinite information that allows you to be able to heal people. And it allows you to heal yourself and allows you to have such a greater understanding of things that you can put them into play any way you want. And he put it into play in such a way, in such a magnificent way. I mean, what a story of law of attraction. Jesus Christ himself. Now, whether you're reading the words law of attraction in the Bible or not, if once you understand the law of attraction and how it works, you can go into that Bible and there's just endless stories about it and how it works. It's just, you got to learn really how to sift and read through the text and the understanding of the content, you know. And for me, as I've opened myself up, when I read stuff now, it really just rises up out of the pages at me. And I honestly do not read a lot, but when I do read, and when I listen to things too, like my ears pick it up. I'm really in tune into the observation, whether it be from sight, smell, touch, taste, or hearing, that I'm like picking this stuff up all around me. I'm really getting tuned into energy. So I'm really grateful for being introduced to the law of attraction, for me waking up because of some tragic stuff going on within myself and within my life, that it made me take an inner look. Instead of looking in myself from the outside, what I'm doing now is I'm looking from the inside out. I used to look from the outside in, and now I'm looking from the inside out, and it's just freed me up. And I've had to take a lot of personal responsibility in this process of admitting a lot of things that I didn't want to admit, or that I even couldn't notice about myself, that a lot of other people in society could see that was going on with me, that had tried to say stuff to me at times, but I wasn't having it, but that was God's plan for me, and that's part of the lessons for all of us, that we're going through these things. And if you notice you keep bumping your head, you really need to pay attention, because sometimes when I bumped my head, I wanted to blame the doorway was too low, or I wanted to blame that my shoes were too high. But I really needed to blame myself, to be aware and conscious of my surroundings so I can adjust accordingly to what's going on. And when I'm not paying attention and being conscious and aware, you bump your head all over the place. And when we do that, it's very easy to blame things outside of ourselves for these reasons. I only take responsibility for my personal actions and my personal reactions. I'm only responsible for my actions and my reactions, and I'm responsible within myself for my emotions and how I decide to allow things to affect me. And before, I used to be and I still am, I'm a very emotional person, and I internalize things very personally. But through the work that I've been doing with Law of Attraction and a lot of other universal laws, by the way, I'm implementing into my life, because I believe that is these particular laws that man has noticed that are going on. That is God talking to us. That is God's information. It's an infinite source of anything is possible out there. We're the only ones that put labels that things are impossible, but we're learning more and more that uncurable is curable, and that the impossible is actually possible. We just need to figure out the things that make the equation for that to equal to what we're looking for. And science and religion and spirituality and all these things are starting to really open up and come to a whole nother place, which is I think is awesome, because that means a lot of more people's lives are going to be able to benefit from this stuff, and we're going to be able to make a bigger impact within our own lives, which makes a bigger impact outside of our lives. And a lot of the time we've been kind of looking outside for somebody else to do something that will make a change for our life. That's why when it comes to like a president, we're always like, well, I hope they make better decisions so things get better for us. But really, they're not going to make any sort of things that's going to make anything better or worse for you. They do make a lot of decisions that do change some things, but it's really up to you how you decide to interpret these things. And not only that, how you're going to decide how you allow these things to affect you emotionally and internally, that create the decisions you decide to make, whether they're fear-based or whether you believe in yourself with all the faith-based. And these things are what perpetuate us forward, or some of it holds us back like an anchor. And when you start to realize these things, you realize, man, you could find a lamp and rub the genie, and he could come out and he could grant all your wishes. But if you can't stay in alignment with that energy of the things that you're dreaming for and that you're wishing for, and you're hoping that somebody outside yourself can bring for you, you might be able to attract those things in, but you won't be able to hold them there. They'll come and they'll fall right through your hands like water or like sand, or if the wind blows and it's money, it will just blow away and you won't have it. You won't be able to hold on to it. And the key to this stuff is to be able to milk it and to hold on to it and to just draw it out as long as you can. That's why Esther says if you can, think a thought for 17 seconds or 16 seconds and milk that feeling longer and longer and longer, that really creates a lot of momentum for you attracting the things that you want, because the storyline starts to gather up very quickly and starts to unfold very quickly. And when we have thoughts that are counteractive to that, it slows the process down. So we could get a check in the mail tomorrow, or we could get a check in the mail in 8 years or 8 months or 8 weeks. It really depends on what we decide to believe and how much we milk the feeling of the belief of that to be the reality of truth, whether we can see it or not. And I realize a lot of people say, well, hey, I don't have the ability to milk a feeling. I don't know what you're talking about, but we are very well practiced of milking these feelings. that's why a lot of us are having unfruitful lives, and we're wondering, how come I'm in bad relationships, and how come I'm in financial debt, and how come I'm having all of these particular issues. It's because you don't realize it, but you are milking the feeling of these feelings of sadness, or I'm not good enough, or I can't be loved, or, how am I going to get out of here? I just don't see myself getting out of this financial debt. It's just too much for me, and I only make minimum wage. So or these stories and things and these realities that you see that may be true for you, that you see, but the fact is because you believe that to be the truth, is that's what you really get to experience. We all run into trouble in life, but it's just a moment, and if you milk that moment that doesn't feel good, you get more not feel good moments in your life. And it's not even the same story. It's I had a bad time with my girlfriend, and then I had a bad time with some workers at work, and then I was just by myself, and I fell down and had a bad time by myself. It really has nothing to do with anybody. It has to do with me, and the things going on with me attract the stories. It just attracts an unfolding, and the stories are being created, and I have to be aware, is this a positive story or a negative story? And I've ran into stories that have started off negative, and I've recognized it, and I shifted my perspective during the moment of negative life unfolding, and things started to shift and change, and before you knew it, it wasn't negative anymore. It was actually a very positive experience, and it filled me up with joy, and more it just makes me know that the law of attraction is definitely a real thing. For sure, 100%, I am proof to that. I have manifested. Also, you can see this Wade Factors book. I've got one right here too. I really didn't want to do this, but not only that, Wade Factors and this book called Resilient by Kelly Fitzgerald and Lisa James. These two books I had manifested into my life. I had on a vision board on my wall 3 years ago. I had a 5-year plan on a vision board to be a part or write 5 books to be published, and I'm only 3 years into it, and there's a lot bigger stories to my story of who Wade is. But the fact is, I wasn't supposed to be here or supposed to be doing this or none of this supposedly. But the truth is I'm open to it, and I am, and it's the purpose for me. It's part of my purpose and part of why I'm here. But I manifested this book. I manifested getting a story inside this book. It was on my visual board. I wrote down that I was going to achieve these things, and I believe that I can do it, and I have done it, and it's unbelievable stuff. There's some other stuff. I wish I would have had my medical records here as well, but I mean, if I'm going to do a testimonial about law of attraction, what it's done for me and what kind of things it can do for you, I have some spinal problems in my back. I had my disc between my L3 and L4, and my disc between my L4 and my L5. Over roughly now about a 17-year period, I've had some back issues, and I had chiropractic help, and I've went to MRIs to see the problem, and I had x-rays, and I've went to physical therapy to do exercise and all these things, and in the end they had diagnosed me with a degenerative disc disease, which means that the disc between your spinal plates there, they can disintegrate, and when they do, it becomes bone on bone, and it's very, very painful. And when these discs that are kind of like jelly, they can break out of the exterior walls, and when they protrude out, which is called a hernia, like a hernia of a disc, it presses on nerves, and it can debilitate your legs. It can cause all kinds of problems for your body. And I've actually had numbness in my right leg, and a lack of mobility in my toes, and I suffered from a lot of sciatica nerve pain in my back and in my legs, and just a lot of tight tension in my muscles, and a lot of excruciating pain was going on, and I did it all without taking pain pills or muscle relaxers or anything. But what I had done was in 2012 I had an MRI taken, and it showed that the disc between L3 and 4 was basically about to be completely gone, and I was about to go on bone touching. And the doctor was very worried about me, and he sent the file to some spine specialists that do surgery for these particular problems, and they both had some questions for him, and he answered them for him. And they said, well, if that's the way that the patient feels, then we don't recommend doing any surgery, but if things change, then let's talk about it. And so I went through the past 3 years really focusing my energy on this between the L3 and L4 and healing that disc that they say cannot be healed. It's supposedly an uncurable disease, okay, you guys? But what I did was I focused and visualized my back healing. When I felt pain, I said that I'm healing, a lot like when a cut occurs and it's healing and you got a scab and you want to itch it. Anytime I felt any uncomfortability in that particular area, I focused my visions on healing this L3-4 disc. And I also went to the mountains where there were waterfalls, and I collected mountain water from pretty high up on the mountain, and I labeled the jug on it healing water. I also took tape, okay, like just regular like painter's tape that you can draw on, that's about this thick, about 3 inches thick, and I wrote on it healing. And I would put that on my back in that particular area of where I knew that disc was, and I would drink this water that I would go up every couple days and fill these jugs for healing my back. And I focused this energy in healing my back, and I am having still back problems. So what happened was I went into the doctor this last week, and so 3 years since the prior doctor visit of an MRI and an x-rays, and I went in and I wanted to get an x-ray to find out where I'm at in healing on my L3 and L4 disc, and to see what's going on within my spine in there. And when the x-ray came back, my L3 and L4 disc is completely healed 100%. It looks natural like all the other discs above it, and it's a miracle. And I'm literally drumming up all my files from the past 6 to 7 years of x-rays and MRIs that show the deterioration, and then to show this new x-ray of what's going on with my back. And I have literally healed with my mind the belief system of healing myself the degenerative disease. I healed my spinal disc. Now, that to be said, I am suffering from some spinal problems in my back. And what I discovered in this particular x-ray now is that the L3 or the L4 and 5 disc that was in line to go as well at some point has finally taken its toll, and that is where a lot of my discomfort is coming from. So now what I plan to do now in January, it's February 2nd, the 9th of February 2017, I am focusing my energy now into the deteriorated disc of L4 and L5. Right now, the bones are actually touching each other. There's quite a bit of rubbing. There's some bone spur that is kind of built up a little bit. There is just a little slice of life going on there on a corner of the disc that's left. And I believe that with what little life that they say is there, if there is actually a disc there in any bit of life, I will regenerate that with law of attraction. I will regenerate that with a mustard seed of faith that moves mountains to heal my spine. And I believe that I can heal my spine, and in the process, I'm open and flexible to all the ways that the universe wants to help deliver that to me. So whatever it takes for my spine to get healed back to the form where I have the flexibility and I have the health of a healthy spine, that's what I'm open to. However that has to happen, whether I regenerate that particular disc back to life, or there's other avenues for me to get a disc in there that brings my spine back to life. So that's very, very powerful stuff, you guys, because, sometimes when people say, hey, you manifested yourself some stuff on a plane, or you manifested yourself a parking stall at a parking lot, or you manifested yourself a little bit of extra money, or stuff like that. But when you're manifesting things that are healing your body that the doctors say cannot be healed because you got an uncurable disease, at some point, I've got to say to myself that there's only so much luck and there's only so much coincidences, supposedly. And there's only so many miracles that can happen to you where you realize, man, there's something really going on here, and there's something very powerful to the way that we think, the way that we feel, and the actions that we're taking in the response of those thoughts and those feelings, you know. So this is my testimonial for Law of Attraction, and I made this testimonial for my friend Johnny Nguyen. And I know that I said that at the beginning of this video, but I would like to reiterate that this Johnny Nguyen, he is a really good guy, man. He's out there making a lot of daily content on YouTube. I want you all to go out there and subscribe to this kid and support him, because he's doing really good things. And in the process, he's learning more about the Law of Attraction. He's sharing it with us so we can learn more. And he's investigating the Law of Attraction and different people that are using it, and how we're using it, and how it's benefiting our lives. So, you know, Johnny Nguyen, thank you so much for asking me to make a testimonial for you, because I'm very grateful for you, my friend. And when I listen to your videos and some of the earlier stuff that you had done on YouTube, I just love you, man. I love what you're doing. You are so authentic. You have this energy, and you know, you are who you are, and I appreciate who you are. You are so exciting, and I love the fact that you're just such an authentic person, that you're just being you, and and that you're doing the best that you can with what you have, where you're at, and you're really making a difference. You've affected me in my life in a very positive way, and I hope that me and you can do some future stuff together to help more people, because me and you are definitely on the same alignment path as when we think about the same things there with people. And I thank you so much for being my friend and for supporting me, and I fully want to support you in everything you do, and I believe in you, and I know that you can achieve anything that you want to. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else says or what anybody else thinks. I want you to know that it really matters what you think, and I do support you, and I believe in you. So sometimes if you feel a little lack of encouragement from other people in life, you can watch this video and listen to this, because I'm encouraged by you, Johnny, and I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Success is coming, and these things people need to realize, you know, that when we're setting off on these journeys, it's an unfolding. It takes time to build success. It takes time to grow and build to reach these bigger achievements, to achieve these accomplishments that we know that we can do, regardless if our mother or our father or the outside world believes that it's true or not, or that they believe that we can do this or not. I believe in you, I believe in me, and I believe in everybody else that watches this video. I know that you can do it. You just have to take the time to give yourself the chance to believe that you can, and then you'll start to meet new friends. Like I've met Johnny, and I've met a lot of other people that have really been helpful to my experience, and I want to continue to have you guys in my life as my family. You guys are my universal family, and I'm so thankful to have you here in the manifested version, because you know what? When we all go to the other side, birth back into infinite, we're family there too. So the ironic part is that we're family there, and we're actually getting family here, and we're reconnecting with ourselves and our spirits. And I just love everybody, and I love all of you, and thank you, Johnny, so much for allowing me to make this video. And I know that it's running on to about 35 minutes here, but that's what it took for me to make a testimonial. To be honest with you guys, I can go on for probably 30 days or 30 hours about what Law of Attraction has done for me. And honestly, I do read the Bible. I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus. And I believe, you know, to be honest with you, they say if you believe in everything, you can't really believe in anything. But I am open to all perspectives. I believe I'm open to all the different beliefs. And in the beliefs of things that you believe and things you share, I take in what's good for me, what feels good for me, what works for me, of all different perspectives. And a lot of people that have different views than me have shared their views, and I've went home with those particular views, and I've revisited them, and I've given them a chance to look at them through those particular eyes, and it's really changed a lot of the way I see things, and it's helped me create my own personal adjustments. That God has gifted me this with my emotional guidance system, and allowed me to say, hey, if you recognize to this emotional guidance system, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, and allow yourself to be open to perspectives when it's not feeling good, has really allowed me to open up in such a great way that has allowed the law of attraction to work so much for me even quicker and quicker and quicker. The more that I'm learning and I'm exercising these particular practices every day, manifestations are happening very, very, very quickly. And I'm very grateful for that. So thank you for the time, for listening to me. Also, please subscribe to Johnny Nguyen's YouTube channel. And also, I'm on Instagram myself, The Wade Bloodgood Journey. I have a Facebook page. I'm on YouTube as well. You can subscribe to my channel as well. We're all kind of putting out a lot of different content that's helpful for people. And if you just tune in, we're here to help. And I hope you get some value from this today. And I just, once again, it's, for me, gratitude is the attitude. So I'm thankful and I'm appreciative, and I say it a lot that, it might make you sick, but I love you anyway. So you all have a great day and have a great night. And you know what? Let's work together and work within ourselves as well to generate these more positive things, so we can utilize the universal powers of what God's delivered to us, and really make an impact on our lives and other people's lives as well, because the world really needs it. There's so many people out here that are suffering from so many different things, and they just don't believe that they could ever get out of it, or that there is no hope. And I want to bring that there is, and that you are worthy of things, and that I love you, and you deserve a better life. You don't deserve to suffer in agony or create pain and agony for somebody else because you feel that you're not deserving, so they're not deserving. And we all deserve to be happy and to have joy and to receive love and to receive that we're worthy and to have a good support system. And I want to be that there for anybody that wants to reach out to me personally, and everybody else that wants to tune in to get some value from these things, to feel supported. So that's what I'm about. Thank you for listening to Testimonial about Law of Attraction. Until next time, we'll see you again.